Well, hello and welcome to the June edition of Shropshire Business Live TV. Chris isn't with us this month. He's off flying his kite on holiday. But don't worry, we are not alone in the studio today. We've got some great guests to introduce you to over the next hour or so. Now, nearly 600 people were at Telford's International Centre at the weekend for the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards, known as the Business Oscars of the county. And over the course of this show, we're going to be bringing you some exclusive content, not just talking to the winners and some of the party goers as well, because it went on way into the early hours of Saturday, but also giving you a sneak peek behind the scenes. Because, of course, when you turn up with your black tie and your posh frocks, what you see is the finished product. A lot of work goes into it, as I'm sure you can imagine, with the Chamber team putting an event like this together. In fact, the planning for next year's event, I know, has already started. So we're going to be giving you access all areas to the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards on Sbltv today. And we thought we would start by giving you a little glimpse into the hall, probably 2 or 3 hours before the awards were due to start, so you can see what people got up to when they were setting up for the biggest business show of the year. Take a look. So here we are at Telford's International Centre on the day of the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards. It's just gone 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and as you can probably see, we're right in the middle of rehearsals. We thought it might be quite nice to see how an event like this is actually put together. People turn up on the night and see it operating seamlessly, but so many tasks are involved in making this happen, so many jobs to do at this time in the afternoon. So let's go inside and have a look at what's going on. So, of course, there's more than just this camera involved in putting an event like this together. Toby from the Yarringtons team, you're the drone pilot today then, so what have you been doing?
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of drone footage of the room. We've got some of the wonderful venue that we're in, the TIC, obviously. I've sent the drone around, having a look at the set, getting some really good footage, and I feel sure we'll put some on screen for you to have a look at now.
Here's Leanne from Little Stars. I've interrupted her while she's doing an important job today. You're going to be on stage later tonight with me doing the charity game, aren't you? But
yes.
What's your job at this time of the afternoon then?
So currently I am putting out the gold envelopes for everybody to be able to put a donation in on the evening if they wish to do so to support Little Stars, as we are charity of the evening tonight.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It'll be great because we've got the trustees coming as well, so which is really nice, especially, you know, only being 3 years old now, so yeah, it's a really good kind of celebration as well to how far we've come.
And it could raise a lot of money that's important for the charity as well.
Oh, 100%, really important, which is what I'll be saying later on again this evening in terms of how important it is to us. We're such a small organisation, so to be able to have this event and them select us as the charity is huge for us because it means that we can just reach more vulnerable families across Shropshire.
Here's Kelly, the Events and Training Manager at Shropshire Chamber. Kelly, this is a busy day for you now, isn't it? So what do the Chamber team have to do in these 2 hours before the awards start?
So in the 2 hours we have to put all the goodie bags on the seats, the book of the nights on the tables, check that all the tables are correct against the table plan. We've got the awards, checking they're all correct. Finalist certificates, putting those all in the right places and just checking everything that we've been planning for the last 6 months is all here in the room as it should be, and just running through everything and briefing the team on their responsibilities for the evening.
Not much then?
No, not much at all. I mean, we could do it in 20 minutes really.
Is it just nice though when you walk in the hall and see it all starting to come together, because the planning goes on for ages, doesn't it?
Even though you visualise it over the upcoming months, it is amazing when you walk in, and as you see, as you walk in, it's a shell, then the production team is setting up, then you have your rigging, then your tables. It's fantastic to see the whole process from start to end, and it's great with all the team getting involved. They really enjoy it, and it shows as well that they've helped through the last few months and how it's going to be on the evening.
Should be a good one, I reckon, don't you?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing this evening, can't wait.
See you later.
See you later, thank you.
So there you go. That's a flavour of what was happening behind the scenes on the Friday afternoon before the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards. Off we then all went to slip into something less comfortable for the evening, dressing to impress. You can't go to an Oscars night, can you, without dressing to impress? There were some fabulous sights from on the stage, I can tell you that, and it still amazes me, having been involved in this awards event for many years, just how quickly the whole thing comes together and the look on people's faces when they first walk into the hall to see the backdrop and see the whole scale of it. So on to the winners. Well, the big winner of the night this year was Oswestry's ACO, our friends of this show, who won 2 awards this year. They became the first company in the history of the event to win the Shropshire Company of the Year prize on 3 occasions, and they also picked up the Trailblazer Award, recognising innovation. Let's meet them.
The winner of the Company of the Year is ACO.
It's really amazing to be shortlisted amongst 4 amazing businesses, and again for a third time is amazing. You know, it's testament to the team that we've got back in Oswestry, and yeah, just really proud and humbled to be one of 600 people in a room, and yeah, I'm gobsmacked. It's amazing.
And the winner is ACO.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic to be recognised for yet another company innovation. Yeah, so it really comes down to listening to what the customers are saying. So, the market often really talks to you, and it's just a case of being there and ready to kind of listen and receive to what they're saying. So, the idea kind of came about by listening to landlords who were saying, look, we want as much information back from the properties as possible. Property health is really growing, really important to us. What can you guys put together? And, this was our response.
So big congratulations to the team from ACO with their double success at the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards. I can tell you they partied well into the early hours. How do I know that? Couldn't possibly comment. I might have been with them as well. A really good night at the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards. We'll be meeting more of the winners, the finalists and some of the other party goers over the course of the rest of the show. Lots of great content to bring you. But I'm delighted now to introduce our first guest, and it's someone who was at the Business Awards on Friday, Jivan Punj from the Federation of Small Businesses. Also run your own small business, but it was your first time at the awards, wasn't it? What did you think?
It was fantastic. So many people. Really well organised, everything went to time and everybody had fun, and that's what it's about, celebrating people and having a good time. I really enjoyed it.
That's good to hear. Now tell us a bit about you. Tell us about you and your business.
Yes, I'm Jeevan. I'm the director of Elite Hampers. I make corporate food and drink hampers, so adding value to business relationships, that's what the message is about the business. And I go around trying different drinks, different foods, making sure that the hampers contain items that can really be enjoyed. It's
a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. But this isn't what you've always done for a career, is it? Because you've got a really eclectic background, haven't you?
That's correct, yes. So about 15 years ago, I qualified as an optometrist, so an optician. I've been working around Shropshire as a locum, as an independent, and different practices. And I test people's eyes, still qualified, and enjoyed it. Had a great career in it. But then COVID happened and things changed in my life personally. And I got to a stage where I thought, you know what, I could do this until I retire, my 60s, because it gets comfortable. I'm in my comfort zone, but something wasn't right and I wasn't enjoying it as much as I used to. But as a family and as a person, I've always made gifts. So we've always thought that giving is better than receiving. And I've always followed that concept. And during COVID, I was giving gifts as well. I've always done it, Easter eggs, Christmas presents and all that. And me and my husband were sitting one night and really discussing, because I wasn't very happy. What do I really want to do? the idea just arose. I didn't even have a company name. We just went onto company's house, registered the business, and that was it. And then I had to think, wow, how am I going to create everything? Because selling things is different to creating things. You know, I've given things, but I've not sold alcohol before. What do I do? Where do I go? Yeah.
And presumably you'd not been too involved in your previous jobs with the sales and marketing and promotion side of the company.
No. So somebody would come into my testing room. I'd know exactly what to do. I'd have my equipment. I'd make my notes, talk to people, and check their health. Nothing involved in terms of sales and marketing. I did a little bit of management. But that's more managing people in my career. But yeah, that was so it's a big learning curve.
But you're still smiling.
Yes.
You're still running the business. How have you found it then? I mean, was it a case of literally a blank sheet of paper and thinking, right, new start, we're out of lockdown, let's crack on with something completely different?
Absolutely. It was just like that, to be honest. So when I first set up, I really didn't know where to go, where to start. But now I look back, it's a bit like, you know, when Steve Jobs said about connecting the dots. I mean, he did it over many years. I'm just thinking, you know, year and a half, 2 years. It's so true. You have a conversation with someone, you meet somebody, you get an idea, and all these things add up, and you make things happen. It's not easy. It's really not easy, especially when you're trying to create something where you've got no real experience of business. You've got experience of work, you've created things, but there's marketing, there's people, there's advertising, getting your products, getting the money to get the products. There's so many things involved. But you just try your best.
And that presumably is one of the reasons why you decided you want to join a business network to help get some support. So had you been part of the FSB before you started this business then? Or?
I hadn't, no. So I'd heard of the FSB, didn't know much about them, got introduced to the FSB, spoke to a lovely man that one day, and I just joined because it made sense. And I don't regret it at all. They've helped me quite a lot. And I started networking with them, which has been great. I've met so many local businesses as well. And then I got the opportunity, because they had seen me around Shropshire, they approached me for, it's a regional lead role. So I'm the local lead for the FSB in Shropshire, Herefordshire and Worcestershire.
That's a big patch.
Big words as well.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So, and actually, I mean, in some ways they're similar counties, but in other ways they're quite different, aren't they?
Absolutely, yes. In terms of how many people are in each county as well, Telford is, Shropshire, quite busy, but then you'd go to Hereford, not as busy. But if you look at the businesses in Hereford, there's so many great businesses, same as Worcester as well. So yeah, it's a big area. Very different.
And taking on a role like this then, did you do that because I mean, it was two reasons, I guess, for it. One, because you obviously wanted to have a crack at it, but also, yes, was it something you saw that would help your business at the same time? Yeah,
I think helping the business, yes, in terms of networking, getting to know people. But for me, I always like to give back, and the FSB gave me so much. And in my optical career and just personally, I have given back. I like to do it. I'm also a volunteer for a helpline. It feels good to do that. And there's so many nice people locally in the FSB that I can help. Why not do it? And I think early on in your business, you have more time to make these relationships and go out there. And I had the time and I did it, and I'm glad I did it.
But also, you know, statistics suggest that since COVID, a lot more people who've maybe been working previously for bigger companies have decided, as you did, you know what? I want something completely different. I want a different work-life balance. Yes. I've got mental health issues and I just don't want the pressure. So there's more people setting up small businesses now in rural counties like Shropshire than there's ever been, who are in the same position as you, aren't there?
Yes, totally agree with that. And the thing is, why not just try it? What's the worst? I always look at life and I tell my 5-year-old son this, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, you've got to be sensible. You've got to have I think I have my head screwed on, right? But what's the worst that can happen? If you don't try, you don't know. You put yourself out there because, like you said, mental health is a big issue. Apparently there might be a pandemic in mental health, you know, in the coming years. We don't want that. People should be happy in what they're doing. And if they feel setting up their own business is the way forward, just try it.
I was talking to TV's former exercise guru, Mr. Motivator, yesterday.
Oh, wow.
He was in Telford and I was having a natter with him, and he was all about giving a motivational talk, and he was all about waking up every morning and feeling like this is going to be a good day. Yeah. And most of the time, if you feel like that, then it will be. It's about being glass half full, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. Appreciating what you've got right there. Sometimes we forget and comparison occurs. So, I mean, starting a new business in hampers, oh, wow, there's competition. There's competition, but there's also comparison. And there's a quote that I love. I can't remember where I heard it. I don't think I made it up, but
I'll claim it anyway.
Claim it anyway.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy. And I remind myself every day, it is. I can't compare myself to you. I can't compare myself to anybody. You know, I am who I am. My business is what it is. Yes, looking out for competition, but yeah, you've got to just carry on. That's
easier when you've got belief and you've not got insecurities maybe about what you're doing, isn't it? That sort of attitude. So.
Absolutely. And I think you've got to have the right people around you. And right, I don't mean other businesses, just, you know, people that genuinely care about what you're doing and genuinely want to help you. They can be businesses, your families, organisations. So connect with the right people.
We don't want mood hoovers, do
No,
we?
no, you want to be happy. It's life. It's very short. Make the most of it.
So do you say you're 18 months, nearly 2 years down the line really with this then? Do you now look back at things maybe that you did at the start and think, oh, I wish I'd maybe done that bit differently? Or...
Oh yes, I would have saved so much time. But even looking at products, you know, I was putting things together and I thought, this is it, and do my photography and the website. I'd look at it, it wouldn't look like the way I wanted to. I think I wasn't going to the right places to use the right services because I didn't know where to go. And now I look at my website and I think, wow, is this mine? You know, these kind of changes.
And I guess you don't realise how much it evolves until you take a step back from your business and look back and think, yeah, I've achieved quite a bit then.
I totally agree, yes.
So in your role now then with the FSB, you're obviously talking to a lot of other small businesses.
Yes.
We're reading in the headlines at the moment, the cost of living crisis, power bills, rents, all sorts of pressures at the moment. What are businesses around here telling you about what they're worried about?
Yeah, that's very important and they're great points. Businesses are worried, businesses are scared, but one thing I love about Shropshire businesses, they carry on. They really do, and they care about each other. There's so many great networking groups. I was at one yesterday. Good to Great's another one. They're people that come together and really care. FSB as well. They've got an event on at the beginning of October. They're going to bring businesses together locally, work with each other and help each other. So there are things that we wish that didn't happen in our country, and you know, we want more support, we want more money, we want things, we want lower energy bills, and then we've got, you know, net zero by 2050. How are we going to achieve it? You know, small businesses, because there's a lot involved.
It's even more difficult for some small businesses, isn't it? You know, you can't allocate a full-time officer to handle all of this kind of thing, can you?
Absolutely, it is hard. But like I said earlier, you need the right people around you. Surround yourself with the right people, get the right advice, and don't be scared. Mental health is a big issue, like we talked about. Get support, get help with what you need, and there are people that care about you.
We always think, I mean, we say on this show quite often, we think Shropshire is a really supportive county. We feel that certainly since COVID, one of the big changes is that Shropshire businesses want to help other Shropshire businesses and they want to keep the Shropshire pound in the county, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I can think of a good example. So I just set up the business and I met through the FSB a lovely lady who you probably know, Ellie Wilkinson.
I know Ellie very well, yeah.
She is lovely.
The dyslexia consultant.
That's it. I can't say it, so I'm glad you said it. So I met her online. We didn't contact each other for a while. Then I just heard exactly what she's doing. She's set up the Dyslexia Awards on her own accord, help of other people as well. And she needed a little bit of help with some gifts. And I just started the business, invested so much money in the business, and we were having this conversation over Zoom, and I really wanted to help her. We made it happen. You just make things happen. When you're really passionate and care about something, you just make things happen.
Yeah, Ellie Wilkinson, MBE, we should say, shouldn't we?
Yes,
full
very
title.
special.
So you'll be involved in the Dyslexia Awards again this year?
That's correct. So we did it last year. We'll do it this year as well. We make their table gifts. So if anybody was there last year, they would have seen our ribbons and boxes and food things.
So where's your business based then? Where are you?
Telford.
Okay, so and your customer base would be what, predominantly Midlands, or do you go anywhere?
I can deliver across the UK, so I've actually got a lot of clients in Shropshire, but a lot up north, down south, London way, even Scotland, because I can deliver anywhere.
It sounds like a great job, and it sounds like you're getting out and about and having a bit of fun as well, aren't you? So.
It's got to be fun. You've got to enjoy what you're doing, and right now I am. So let's see.
No sign of going back to the optician's job anytime soon.
Not yet. I've done half a day this year, just to help somebody out. But it's always there, you know.
And if there's one final thing you would say to a small business that's out there that maybe feels like they need a bit of help, support, or they don't quite know where to turn, or find it difficult starting that dialogue, you know, asking the first question and reaching out for the first time is hard, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What would you say to them?
3 things. Speak to your good family and friends you really trust. Secondly, contact your local council. So Telford and Wrekin Council did help me, and then they introduced me to Good to Great. They can help. And thirdly, ask the Federation of Small Businesses how they can help you, because there's a lot of things that they do that people don't realise. So if that helps anybody, that would be my advice.
Excellent. You'll have to come back and see us sometime very soon. Great to have a chat with you.
That'd be lovely. Thank you so much, Carl.
Thank you for your time. We're going to take a quick break now, but we'll be back in a couple of minutes to take a look at 2 more of the big winners from the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards on Friday night. We'll be turning the spotlight on Best New Business and Best Small Business.
I started looking into different routes after college, found out about apprenticeships and decided I wanted to kickstart my career straight away rather than waiting.
I chose to do an apprenticeship because I like the idea of starting work straight away as soon as I could, and then learning as well. It's good to learn a trade, but then when you have the college course that goes with it, you get the extra knowledge that you wouldn't necessarily get if you're just working day to day on the job.
The winner is the Shropshire Distillery.
Well, we're quite overwhelmed actually.
Yeah, shocked.
We're shocked. We didn't expect, because there's some great businesses that have been nominated as well. So yeah, we're just really pleased.
Yeah, no, it's good, and it's good that we're moving forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, and to be recognised by the panel as well, is independent panel is really overwhelming. So it's amazing. Yeah, it's just good that like-minded businesses in the county can see that we're thriving, and yeah, we can help each other, and that's
And
really
work
important.
together as
Working
well.
together is really important.
And the winner of the Best New Business Award is Charlie the Vet.
Wow, we're massively surprised, and the competition was really, really tough. So yeah, we're absolutely thrilled to win. Thank you. Hopefully this is the start for Charlie the Vet, like a start for things to come. Going forward, we're planning on moving into the supplements market for pets. So watch this space in the next month or so. We're going to have lots of new products on the market.
So there we go. That was Charlie the Vet and the Shropshire Distillery winning the Best Small and Best New Business Awards at the Shropshire Chamber Oscars at Telford's International Centre on Friday night. And as we say, we've got loads more footage to come your way. We'll be able to see what Toby, our drone man, was up to a little bit later on as well. Some of the footage that he captured looks absolutely fabulous. And of course, we'll be sharing a lot of this content as well on our YouTube channel. If you've not checked that out yet, please do. All the content from this show will be up there very soon, along with all the other episodes from the past season. So please do check it out, share it. You can binge the entire box set if you want to. Time now to introduce our next guest, Paul Littler from WR Partners in Shrewsbury. Welcome, sir. Also at the Business Awards on Friday night for the first time. What did you think of it all?
Hi, Carl. Yeah, it was a brilliant night. Really enjoyed it. We were sponsoring the Innovation Award, the Trail Blazer Award. A really well organised event. Really enjoyed it. really good.
So you took to the stage to announce the winner, didn't you?
Yes. And when you stood up on the stage, you realise how big it is. You know, it's quite vast, really, wasn't it? About 700.
Well, over 600 people there in the room, so yeah, it's a
really good night.
Proper big gathering. So one of the frustrations I find is I don't realise some of the people that were there that I would have liked to have networked with until I see the pictures later on and think, oh, I didn't realise they were sometimes on the next table. So, but yeah, it's terrific. Now, I mean, WR Partners has been involved in the awards for many years as well. From a company like yours point of view, what's the benefit of associating yourself with an event like that then?
I think it's important from a community perspective. Obviously, it's important from a brand perspective. It's our name out there and the publicity that comes with that. But yeah, I think it's really important to, we're quite a decent sized firm within Shropshire, so it's really important to support from that perspective.
Now, you are the relatively newly installed Director of Sales and Marketing, aren't you?
Yes,
so tell us a bit about your role and your background and where you've come from.
Sure, yeah. So yes, my title is Director of Business Development. So I've recently joined, I'm 3.5 months in. It's a brand new role for WR Partners.
It's a broad remit, business development, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's my role's kind of grown arms and legs, I think, as well.
Is that your choice or other people's choices?
It's
a bit of both.
Kind of evolved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, primarily, I was brought in to develop and implement the strategy for growth. So that's really around, from a marketing perspective, raising the awareness of WR Partner brand, raising awareness of the different services that we offer to new and existing clients. But the other part of my role that's kind of evolved is around focusing on client experience, which I think is really important. Actually, is part of a business development strategy. If you can, make sure that you're consistently delivering a great client service, then your clients will be promoters for you. Loyalty will be greater, retention will be greater. Clients will be more open to additional services that you might offer, and they will tell other businesses and refer you.
Well, and as we were talking earlier, I think particularly in Shropshire, people do business with people, don't they? They do business not just with companies, but with people within those companies that they like, that they respect, that they understand.
Yeah, so. It's incredible. I mean, in any walk of life, we all like referrals for a restaurant, for a holiday destination. It's the same in business, yeah. So if you can have your clients as real promoters of your business and telling other and recommending other businesses to you, then that saves quite a lot of marketing budget.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's your background then?
So my background is 25 years, giving my age away, in financial services.
Started at the age of 10.
I did, that's right, yeah, very, very early on. So yeah, 25 years in financial services. I started off at MBA and credit card company in Chester, an American company. They were then bought out by Bank of America, but I was there for 19 years in total. Started on the phones, worked in marketing roles, relationship management, account management type roles, and then I moved to Home Serve Membership Limited. So still financial services, but a different flavour, insurance rather than consumer finance. I was there for about just under 6 years, which was great. So lots of experience from again, that was partnerships, relationship management, business development type roles. So quite a broad experience, split probably into 3: customer service, marketing, and partnerships business development.
What's the most exciting part of this new role from your point of view then, do you think?
This probably sounds strange, but I think because there is so much to go at, if you like, there's so many opportunities that I find that really exciting. I think the client experience piece for me is the one. I think, WR Partners and have always been known for delivering good client service, but we want to take it to the next level, and we think that's how we will differentiate ourselves in the market, and that's how we'll grow as a business. So that's a real key focus area. We just hired, she's not started yet, but I've hired a client experience manager who's going to come in and look at all of our processes, all of the different client touch points, identify ways that we can improve those, look at ways that we can make it easier to deal with us as a business. We know that if we make it easier for our clients, then that will increase satisfaction. So I think that's really exciting. So yeah.
And one of the challenges, of course, is to gauge how what you are doing is impacting the world out there, isn't it? I know some companies use the NPS, New Promoter Score, as a tool, don't they? To see? And professional services in general, traditionally, haven't always fared brilliantly in that, have they?
No. So when I joined, we hadn't done an annual client survey. It's really important to get the voice of the customer and understand how you're doing. So we've just done our first annual survey in 2 trenches. And one of those key things to measure was the Net Promoter Score. So should I explain what that is? So Net Promoter Scores, you'll have seen them if you've done surveys. So how likely are you to recommend...
This is where you gauge on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 to 10. Is that
how likely are you to recommend to a family or friend or a colleague? So that's the kind of the key question if you're going to ask one, if you like. And then to get the score, you take out the percentage. So if you score 0 to 6, you're classed as a detractor. 7 to 8 is passive. 9 to 10 is a promoter.
Right.
So if you're a promoter, you're likely to recommend.
Yeah.
And to get the score, you basically take away the percentage of percentage of detractors from the percentage of promoters. So I knew that was something that we would want to focus on. We just done our survey. We've come out a score of 26, and I think above 20 is classed as good. World class is probably about 60. If you Netflix, Amazon, Apple, companies that you kind of associate great client experience, they're in the kind of high 50s. That's where we want to get to. So we've got a good baseline, but we want to really get to that to that next level. But you mentioned, we went to UK 200 summit a few weeks ago, and an expert came in on customer experience, and she said that it's a couple of years old, but I doubt it's changed that much. After a customer experience survey in 21, professional services came out with a sobering -42.
Wow, so that means 0 to 6 is dominating on the scales, basically.
More people who are detractors than far more people are promoters than detractors.
So from that point of view, already now you're way ahead of the game.
I mean, it was good, and I'm sure there will be other professional services out there with good scores, but I think in general, client experience and service obviously isn't great. So that's something that, as I say, is a real focus for us. But we've got to identify ways of how we can improve, and getting that client feedback. It's no good just getting the score. You've then got to look at the feedback, listen to it, and have an action plan.
Show that you've listened to it and provide evidence of what you've done quite quickly, don't you?
Yeah. So we're contacting everyone, anyone that gave us some feedback. If they fell into the detractors pot, we're contacting them to understand, what we could be doing better. If they're in that passive pot, they're kind of a little bit on the fence. So again, how do we turn those clients into promoters? And reaching out to our promoters to thank them, and and if they want to refer us or leave a review on Trustpilot or something like that, then fantastic. But it's really important to have an action plan. What are you going to do? And we've already got some process improvements in place before our client experience manager.
I mean, in my experience, the first big hurdle that you need to get over is to get yourself a reputation as a business that listens to what people are saying to you, isn't it? And it sounds easy, but not. It sounds straightforward and logical, doesn't it? But
absolutely. And there will be some clients that didn't complete the survey. We want to communicate to all of our clients to say, this is how you scored us. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing well. This is what we've perhaps not been doing not quite so well, and this is what we're going to do. And I'm hoping that will mean that people who didn't complete the survey go, okay, action's being taken on the back of it. Next time I'll complete it.
Yeah. But and alongside this, of course, you are. I mean, the reason you're involved in the Business Awards is that WR Partners very embedded within the Shropshire business community. I know you've only been here a few months, but you'll know, no doubt, about these business leaders group events that the company's involved in. I was invited to the last one, but it clashed and I wasn't around. So I'm looking forward to finding out what these are all about. Give me a flavour.
Try and make it along. So They've been running about 18 months. I attended my first one a couple of weeks ago, and it's really about bringing business leaders, local businesses. We run one in Shropshire and also in Cheshire. Bring them together to share experiences, challenges, issues. We've got some real expertise within the business. Helen Spencer, our managing partner, and Paul Brown. I think you also.
Paul's been in that very chair several times.
He said, he said. They lead them, and we've got lots of expertise to share. We're also members of Mind Shop, which is effectively kind of global consultants.
Sort of business leader performance analysis, isn't it?
Business advisors,
yeah.
Of which I've now got a license, so I'll be getting more involved in that. But they've got hundreds and hundreds of really powerful tools that can be used to help try and solve challenges and issues. So we'll introduce those. The workshop that I was at was around leadership and coaching. It was a really interactive session. Everyone got involved. Some people said, it's great to know that these aren't just challenges I'm facing. Everyone's facing similar challenges. And it was great to share experiences and really talk about the different styles of leadership and how you need to adapt your style.
That's one of the most important things to a lot of companies, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're a manager, an owner of a business, they say, don't they, when you're at the top of the pyramid, it'd be quite an isolating place.
Yeah.
And who do you actually share your issues with? And you want to know that what you're dealing with is what everybody's having to deal with, don't you?
Absolutely. So. And that was a common theme. But as I say, it was a really, really good interactive session. We asked for some feedback after that. We did a survey. So the next one's 7th of September, and that's around driving efficiencies in your business, driving change management. So 7th of September in our offices. It would be great to see some new faces. It's open to our clients and to other business leaders that the businesses that aren't our clients. So
people want to know more about that. Where do they go? What do they do?
Go onto the website. If you go onto wrpartners.co.uk, there's a tab called Resources. If you go into there, you'll see Business Leader Group. It'll tell you a little bit more about it. You can express an interest. We'll have a chat with you prior, to see if it's right for both of us. Or if you don't remember that, just go on to wrpartners.co.uk and there's an inquiries form. So just pop your details down on there. And it'd be lovely to see some new faces. It's free to come along. And I think everyone, I know, so everyone got a lot out of it. And we had a mixture of existing clients and some businesses that aren't clients.
Which is good from their point of view and your point of view as well, isn't it? So
it's a great way to engage with other businesses. It helps us demonstrate our expertise. So if these businesses are looking for an accountant or a new accountant in the future, hopefully we'll be front of mind. So ticks a lot of boxes.
Excellent. So Paul, what else is on your checklist for this year then? What's on your to-do list?
What I'd love to do is we're improving our website at the moment. We're optimising it, but I'd like to move platforms and redesign the website. That's really important. Making sure when businesses are searching for accountants in Shropshire, they find us.
It's a shop window, isn't it?
The list, absolutely. So that's a big one. Really understanding and building out what our target profiles and target personas should be. So getting, understanding the data from our existing clients and bringing in some market research data to really understand in the different sectors what our ideal client looks like, and then that helps inform your marketing and your business development strategy. So there'd be key things for me. Building a team up. So we had a very small team. We're now going to be a team of 7 in a month or so. So that was important, bringing in some expertise. Helen, managing partner, brought me in purposely, not from professional services, just to have a kind of different view and different ideas. And that's what I've done when I've been hiring people into the team. So that was key to, you've got to have a strong team around you. So hiring the team. We've got a really strong team in place. So that was a key objective when I joined. So
sounds like you've got a fair bit of analysis and number crunching ahead of you then,
Absolutely.
have you, over the next few months?
Yeah, the data is really important. So yeah, getting stuck into that.
I better leave you to it then, hadn't I, Paul? Great to see you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for
you.
for coming in and filling in the WR Partners chair. So we'll be in touch soon. Thank you very much indeed,
Carl.
sir.
See you again.
Now then, we're going to take another quick break, but we'll be back very shortly with the next segment of our highlights package from the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards on Friday night. We've been at the International Centre and the team from Yarrington have been very busy capturing interviews with all the big winners. So in a couple of minutes, you'll have an opportunity to meet the Commitment to People winners and also the Manufacturing and Engineering winners too. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Three individual sensors, optical, heat and carbon monoxide, combined in one alarm for the ultimate fire and CO response. Introducing the EI3030, the next evolution in home life safety. Maximising coverage, whilst making installation simpler, easier and future-proof with the Easy Fit base. The EI3030 multi-sensor fire and carbon monoxide alarm is available to order now. Safety first. Eco first.
Award-winning news, views and analysis. That's what you get with Shropshire Business Magazine. We celebrate the county's successes. We get the inside stories from our innovators and entrepreneurs, and we cover the big talking points across all corners of the county. We're proud to have been named Midlands Magazine of the Year, and proud too to be a founding partner of Shropshire Business Live TV. Download the latest edition of our magazine from our website right now, and drop us a line to find out how we could be putting your company's story into our headlines.
The winner of the award for Excellence in Manufacturing and Engineering 2023, SGE Technology.
Fantastic to be recognised for the work we're doing, always striving forwards. We've got a good team behind us, we've got investment for the future.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, we've supported the Chamber for many years, but the Chamber have supported us as well. We are creating jobs, we're investing for the future. We've got some big investments, so one of the biggest presses in the UK will be installed by the end of November. £2 million investment by Rich and his family. Yeah, good times ahead.
And the winner is Shrewsbury Colleges Group.
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, we were lucky enough to win an award last year, so this is two in 2 years, which is brilliant for everybody at the college, but I want to pay particular tribute to the teams that make such a difference to students. So everybody thinks of the teachers, and our teachers are brilliant, but it's also about all our support teams, everybody that works on everything from student finance, bursaries, transport, all the emotional health and wellbeing support, safeguarding team. It's just a brilliant group of people committed to making 9,000 students experience the best that it can be. I feel very privileged to be the principal of the college.
So there we go, 2 more of our Shropshire Chamber Business Award winners. We've still got lots more to come from Telford's International Centre before the end of the show. But I'm delighted now to be joined here in the Sbltv studio by a man who's been very busy today making important announcements, Mark Barrow from Shropshire Council. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank
I
you.
was just having a quick look, literally 30 seconds ago, on the council's website, there's been a big announcement today about the Riverside development in Shrewsbury, hasn't it? And we haven't actually had an update on this show since almost towards the end of last year, and so much water's gone under the bridge since then, hasn't it? So
yeah.
Tell us what's happened today.
Right, okay, so the big announcement today is the release of the details of who our design consultant partner is, which is Field & Clegg Bradley, which we're delighted to announce because they come with a huge amount of experience and expertise, and we're thrilled to now get them on board and help bring everything Riverside to life.
So you presumably have been working tirelessly behind the scenes on getting ready for all of this for, well, how long? You tell me how long it's...
Very swan-like, Carl, pedalling like fury underneath the waterline. So just give you a quick potted history because it's a little while since I brought you up to speed on this. So in November last year, we appointed Rivington Hark as our development management partners. They've been working really closely with us, bringing forward the procurement of the rest of the team, but also helping harden up the master plan. Helped considerably in January by the announcement that we won 18.7 million of levelling up funding.
Which is quite handy, isn't it?
Which was very handy. So we've gone through the process now of procuring the design consultants, Field & Clegg Bradley, and we're now in the middle of appointing the mixed engineering consultants as well. So we're going to be making an announcement about that soon too.
So is this the stage now where we're going to start seeing things happening quite thick and fast then, is it really? Because at the start, as you say, it's swan under the water, isn't it? And things people don't always see, and then suddenly the dam breaks, doesn't it? And everything starts to kick off. So.
Exactly. And the eagle-eyed amongst your viewers will have noticed we've got a planning application in for the partial demolition of the Riverside Shopping Centre too. So really delighted to see that come forward, and we'd hope to be through that this summer and start to see some demolition. And I think it's when we see that kind of physical manifestation, people will think this is happening.
They say this really is happening, don't they? Yeah, exactly. But of course, this is far more than just, as you alluded, than just the council, isn't it? There's so many partners, there's so many different cogs to this, isn't there? So, just give us an idea of the scale of it.
Well, so if we think about the whole of the Riverside area, you're almost kind of from Welsh Bridge to the railway station in many ways. And it's a real kind of ambitious scheme to kind of completely rejuvenate, redesign, bring that area to life. It includes the kind of gyratory around the rail station too, and that's part of what the levelling up funding will do. So it's that whole kind of quarter of town really kind of bringing it to life. And as you have just alluded to, there are a lot of people with interests in that. There are a lot of different ownerships, there are a lot of stakeholders. There's partners like Shrewsbury Business Improvement District, the Town Council, various other kind of bodies too. So hugely exciting.
Because we had a panel debate, in fact, in the studio here earlier this year about the big town plan, and it's part of that, isn't it? Well, it's a key part of that. It's a driver of that in many ways.
It is. It's at the heart of it, really, however you look at it. And the big town plan, of course, reaches across the whole of the town. But, of course, it's also the driver for things like the movement strategy for Shrewsbury. So we're in the process of completely redesigning public transport systems at the moment and thinking about how park and ride works. How do things like the car parks around the shoulder of the towns work? So this is going to come forward as a big integrated kind of piece of work, because I think that's perhaps what people don't understand. It's not just about the physical development, it's about how the whole town kind of functions. And the Riverside bit is kind of the showcase bit within the heart of it, but absolutely it plays to the whole of Shrewsbury.
And it's the perception of the town as well, isn't it? And the sort of the gateway to the town, certainly from the Riverside, entrance, isn't it? I know can be a double-edged sword in terms of some of the flooding issues that you get and wanting to protect the town a little bit, but it's a juggling act, isn't it?
It is. So there's an interesting bit here. So at the heart of everything Riverside and the town centre is this sense of how can we treat the river as an asset rather than a threat. And of course the design of Shrewsbury was always, the risk of flooding, what happens with the river, etc., etc. So we really want to embrace that and kind of open up that whole kind of Smithfield Road area into a high quality piece of river environment. That's going to be a game changer. At the heart of this, if you think about it, and people know this, there's been this change in our high streets and this kind of shift in a retail sense to much more about experience and destination. Now, Shrewsbury is a great place and it has a real pull in a visitor economy, but it's becoming much more of a significant place to kind of just spend social time and to kind of dwell and to kind of that leisure economy. So what you've seen change on the high street in terms of retail kind of changing. You've seen a massive increase in Shrewsbury on food and beverage and hospitality, for example. So this is part of a strategy which is Shrewsbury as a destination, a place to do a range of things. where a family can go in different directions. Now, that has an economic output, it has a place shaping output, it kind of changes the way we kind of present the town to the world. So exciting in many ways, really. The flooding bit, as people will know, we're working on that in another stream, actually, and there's a lot that's going to come forward this autumn as part of a public consultation. So, you know, really confident that we've got that in our sights as well as part of this wider programme.
How much, well, I don't know, maybe you haven't, but have you had to consider the changes in the economy, the threats, the pressures in the economy that we've still got, and we're talking about this year, whether it's inflationary pressures, cost of living pressures, when you're shaping this plan, compared to maybe how the economy or the predictions looked a couple of years ago when you were first putting it together? Have you had to adjust, evolve?
You always do. I mean, the only thing that's certain is nothing is certain, of course, you know, and the cost economics of development are always changing in one way or another. But if we kind of reflect on the strategy, so go back to 2018 when the council bought the 3 retail centres, it was always clear at the time that it was wanting to manage that transition that's a mega trend really around the world of the kind of changing natures of our town centres. So think of it like this: there's about 128,000 square metres of retail space in Shrewsbury. Pride Hill Centre, for example, was 10,000. By taking Riverside and Pride Hill out, what we've done is strengthen the rest of the retail offer in the town centre. And the Darwin Centre is kind of 95% full, for example. So we don't have that visual pepper potting that a number of high streets around the country have, where it kind of looks like neglect. So Shrewsbury's really vibrant. It held up really well in footfall since through the pandemic. We know that there's kind of a strong sense of people wanting to continue to come here. And of course, demand is everything in the world of business. So here's an interesting one. First 2 quarters of the pandemic, Shrewsbury, according to Estates Gazette, which is the go-to journal for all property professionals, Shrewsbury saw the biggest increase in office demand in the country for 2 quarters. Who'd have thought? But that's the shift that the pandemic has brought.
And do you analyse what? Are you able to boil down to actually why that happened, why that was?
It's part of that shift in terms of less dependence on city centre economy, more hybrid working, the kind of quality of life of, you know, 60% working from home. Where's the local office going to be? That kind of thing, massive opportunity. So for us, that kind of mixed economy part of this development, you know some office, some leisure, some food and beverage, you know, bringing out that kind of waterside placemaking, a little bit of residential, lots and lots of exciting stuff in there.
We were chatting, I think the last time we met, we were chatting about the launch of the Shropshire Plan, and part of that is this idea of the healthy economy concept. Where are we at on that at the moment? How healthy are we, do you think?
Actually, and this is an interesting bit really, so Shropshire went into the pandemic and you know, grew rapidly in terms of increases in unemployment, became the second highest in the East and West Midlands at one point in time. But interestingly, has now been the fastest to recover. Now, part of that was visitor economy and hospitality, tourism, etc. But our rate of recovery has been really, really strong, and we're really pleased with that. So that kind of support that we were part of through supporting businesses through the pandemic, our businesses in Shropshire have come out of that really well. We're delighted with that. The healthy economy bit is one of our central parts of the Shropshire Plan. Everything in kind of, you know, Big Town Plan and Riverside is a core part of that in and around Shrewsbury. And to kind of put that in context, there's about 45,000 jobs in and around Shrewsbury, so it's a big employment centre. So consolidating its place, you know, consolidating the town at the heart of the county. You know, it takes a county to make a county town. You know, is a really important part of it. So actually, we're travelling quite optimistically. Let's put it like that about the future for Shrewsbury.
Excellent. What's the biggest challenge at the moment, do you think?
We've just got plates spinning all over the place in a number of ways. You know, the team working on bringing this forward are you know, all sorts of stuff at the moment in relation to, I've mentioned kind of, you know, flooding and working with the Environment Agency there. There's all sorts of planning issues to address. There's the cost economics and engaging with developers and occupiers in the background. There is a lot of multiple streams of work going on in that sense. The other bit is, as a council, this isn't just about us. This is a bit about working with partners, making sure everybody is part of this, because it's a cliche, but the journey is part of the strategy. Everybody needs to come along on this, and we want that kind of, you know, whole-scale community support. So lots and lots of kind of activity in all sorts of ways, you know, supporting what we're trying to achieve.
And bringing things then back sort of full circle to the Riverside development, I guess one of the dilemmas or the juggling acts you've got is you've got a lot of people who are already in and around the area which is being developed. You've also got people that you're wanting to court and get them interested in coming into Shrewsbury maybe for the first time to be involved in what the future is. And you've got to keep both of these kind of parties happy, haven't you?
You have, yeah. So of course, omelets and eggs in the middle of this. You know, there will be a phase of demolition. There will be a big kind of program of change. And, you know, and things like, for example, when we get to it, you know, the demolition of Raven Meadows car park, you know, all of those things are part of this kind of program that we're working on at the moment and will affect people in different ways. So there is lots to kind of work through. As you say, you know, there's this thing about local business versus kind of the new and who we're attracting. Positive bit here is that there's a lot of interest from people out there in the wider world about what's the opportunity in Shrewsbury. They see it. And you know, it's helped by quite regularly Shrewsbury appears in, and Shropshire generally appears in a lot of those weekend supplements as a place to go, which is great. So there's a lot of outside interest here, and the occupiers as well as developers we talk to really get that. So great. One of the interesting bits here for local businesses, we talk a lot about the Shropshire Pound. So how is this, as a project and a programme, going to create a positive impact on the Shropshire Pound for local businesses too? And that's something that we really want to make sure is a core part of it.
And sometimes you have to actually sit down and consider the things you probably forget about, don't you, in terms of once you get somebody into a town centre. It's not just what they go and do when they hand their money over in the shop that's newly relocated in the centre. There's so many other strands, there's so many other businesses that you're supporting, isn't there?
There is.
Public transport operators, cafes, restaurants,
There
where they
is.
go on their way there, on their way back, childcare, there's all sorts, isn't there? So
Yeah, there is actually, and it's an interesting kind of, you know, piece, that, because I talk a lot about how we curate the town centre. There's a sense of almost managing it as a place. You know, if we're talking about it as let's say a visitor destination, you manage it like you would manage it almost like a theme park. You know, the quality of the experience starts when they plan their journey. How easy is it to book tickets? How easy is it to park your car? You know, what's the wayfinding like when you get there? Is it clean? Does it look well maintained? You know, it's the whole experience that's important to people.
Absolutely, and that's, as you say, that brings you back to the plate juggling, doesn't it? So are you able to pin down a timeline at the moment then, in terms of when we're going to start physically seeing things connected to the Riverside then?
So we hope to be through that planning process on that demolition this summer. So we hope by the end of this year to start to see some physical work take place. So I think that's the key thing to look out for next in terms of physical stuff. There's a whole programme of engagement and consultation going on. And we've got some consultants working with us to kind of bring that forward. So the visibility of all of this to the community is going to be much greater as well.
And that's when you're able to stand up and say to people, look, this is what we've been doing all of these months. We've been telling you it's been going on now. You can actually see it. So is that the bit where you're actually excited or relieved, or a combination of both?
You just moved to the next stage of excitement and relief. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, that I think that kind of sense of when people get it and they can see it happening, the confidence grows, and confidence breeds confidence, and that just makes delivery that much bit easier. And you're kind of not having to then wrestle with the questions like, well, why are you doing this? Because people get it. I think the other bit to stress there is, you know, Shrewsbury is a jewel, isn't it? You know, its town centre is a precious thing. So what we want to do is make sure that everything is complementary to what we've got that's good. And we really want to make sure people don't see this as kind of a threat to that kind of quality of place. You know, I grew up in Shrewsbury. You know, this is really important. You know, I get the personal bit locally. You know, there's something here about the legacy that we leave, because this will set in place the shape of Shrewsbury for, you know, some generations to come. It's a really important opportunity that we want to engage everybody in kind of owning, if you like, what future Shrewsbury looks like.
And as you say, the image, the atmosphere,
exactly,
the ambience of a place is crucial, isn't it? Something you can't actually write down on paper, but it exists, and you don't want anything to upset the equilibrium with that, do you?
Yeah, well, I don't want social media in 20 or 30 years' time saying, what did that Mark Barrow do?
I don't want social media in 10 or 20 years' time, I think. I'll leave it at that, to be honest. No, exactly. But what you do want is people to be looking back in hindsight and be able to say, yeah, that's why they did that. And look at this, and this is still here.
Exactly.
And yeah, excellent. Well, it sounds like we're going to need to have you back in here at the start of our next series, aren't we, to see what else is going on.
More than happy.
Great to see you, and thank you for finding time on a busy day, I know, of PR announcements. And thank you, Mark Barrow, Shropshire Council.
Thanks very much.
Time now to meet 3 more of the winners from the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards on Friday night at the International Centre. We're now going to spotlight on the Eco Award, Global Business, and also the winner of Wellbeing in the Workplace. Take a look.
I am happy to pronounce that the winner is Dyke Yaxley.
We were very confident in what we did, but you never know how good the other people are going to be in the category as well.
I think we were just really confident in everything that we do, and doing our presentation, I think, really showed what we do as a business.
Yeah, we already knew that anything else would have been an absolute bonus, and this is the best bonus you can get.
The winner of the award for Global Business of the Year 2023 is Jasmonite Limited.
We've all worked really hard as a team, and this makes a massive difference to us. To be a part of that group is amazing. Avi Ramp and Seymour's are people that we look up to and think that what they've been doing for years has been amazing. So yeah, we're delighted to have been a part of that.
The winner of the award for Eco 2023 is Stay Safe PPE.
We didn't expect it. The competition is so great. Everybody's doing such a wonderful job and climbing behind the sustainability banner now. We just are a small participant in that movement, but it's great. And we'd like to thank all our customers as well, who have over the years supported us when it was a completely new idea, and they've always supported and won awards themselves for recycling all their PPE through us. What brought it home to us was we were lucky enough to get the contract for the Commonwealth Games last year, and all the wealthy countries had huge kits emblazoned with Commonwealth Games 2022, never going to be used again. The poorer companies, some of the island states, had used their kits so many times it was almost threadbare when we got it, wasn't it?
It was.
And we were aware that if we don't do something as a society, these small island communities are going to be subsumed. They're going to not be even in existence without work from people like us and other sustainability champions who are doing their best.
Shropshire Live. News and entertainment for Shropshire. Shropshire Live.
So there you go. The winners just keep on coming. That's the latest of our segments from the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards at Telford's International Centre on Friday night. We've still got more interviews and winners to talk to before we are finished. But talking of winners, Nick Jones is with us, our Ask the Expert, who has hot-footed it here from... You're a busy man, aren't you, at the moment?
Always, yeah, always. Try and keep yourself busy.
We were talking earlier with Mark about people sort of spinning plates.
Yeah.
You spin quite a few.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning in Windsor, been to a conference, had breakfast and dashed 160 miles, whatever it is, to spend the afternoon with you.
Fantastic. Well, we so much appreciated. So
Thank you.
But I know, because we were talking about this just after last month's show, planning what we were going to talk about today. Yeah. And I know that this project you want to just tell us a bit about now is something you've been working on for, well, for how long? Quite a while, isn't it?
Seemingly years, but not really. No, it's probably been 6 months.
Rebranding yourself?
Rebranding, yeah, absolutely. So we've had a process, we've engaged with lots of people, engaged with external specialists, and we're able to launch the brand today. So it's all come together on exactly the right time, which doesn't always happen.
So you're giving us an exclusive here on Sbltv.
Absolutely.
This is excellent. Why go back to the beginning before we actually reveal some of the thought patterns?
Yeah.
Why rebrand and why now?
Yes, so the original Throgmorton brand was created when the guys joined St James's Place in 2009. And as lots of brands, it was originally just words. There was nothing really that you could use on a logo, on merchandise, or on client gifts, or polo shirts for golf days, or this sort of thing. So, so we were thinking about modernising. Also, the St James's Place UK PLC brand has been changed, and that was quite a long process. And now the new current version of the St James's Place brand doesn't really mix with ours, and sometimes we have co-branded literature and business cards, stationery, letterheads, this sort of thing, and ours conflicted with it almost now. So we had to bring it more compatible with the St James's Place corporate version, but also something that's more practical for us going forward.
In various guises over the years, I've worked on several rebranding projects, and it's a very subjective thing, isn't it?
Massively. You'll prefer one logo, I'll prefer a different one, and there's no rhyme or reason.
And everyone's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you'd never say, well, that's wrong. You've just got to sort of incorporate the views and then blend them together going forward. So
what you can do is ask, you say, right, blank piece of paper. Yeah. Give us your ideas, folks.
Yeah, kind of. This was quite a structured process, though. So we engaged with our team because we've got 45 members of staff, from advisors to support team in Shrewsbury and in Enderby. And hello to all the guys watching from home. But what's nice with that is that actually everyone's got ideas. Everyone really enjoyed being part of the process. And the first thing that we did was to ask them to give us their thoughts on working with Throgmorton and how they feel about the firm.
We've got a word cloud here, haven't we? Let's have a look at this, because this gives you an idea. So these are some of the the team values that people come up with. So you've then got to turn this into a logo, a brand.
So we had these words that were created from this exercise, and the ones that are larger, you know how word clouds work. The ones that are larger have been repeated more often. So trusted came through loud and clear. Caring, professional, friendly, integrity, teamwork, customer care. And as a board, to read these words that our staff think of working with the firm, fantastic. You know, it's quite humbling, and that's what we hope that people would feel. And people
I was going to say, the first thing when you do something like this is you hope the words you want to see are there.
You hope they're positive for a start.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you throw yourself you're open there and being honest and trustworthy, and this is all what we would hope that we portray to the outside world. But if our guys are actually feeling that, then it's a really good sign.
So how do you then translate that into
Yes.
the next stage.
Yeah, so this was the values, and there was a document that was pulled together that we then created a branding sort of scoping out thing that went to the designers, and then they come up with some ideas, bearing in mind, because each time they do this for a business, they'll have different words, they'll have different feeling, different culture that they're trying to represent with the logo. And the logo is not just a logo, it is representing the brand, isn't it? So trying to represent all of this in a few words and a couple of images is quite difficult.
Let's have a look at this next slide now, because this is where you'd gone to the next stage of starting to come up with an idea here.
Yeah,
So talk us through this one.
So part of our conversations were about what's important to us as a business, what sort of stakeholders do we have. So the designer came up with this as a concept, that we have the 4 circles. We've got Throgmorton ourselves, we've got St James's Place, which are fundamentally providing lots of the services behind the scenes. We've got our clients and we've got our local communities. And the idea being that the 4 of them are really intermingled, because if we're not looking after our communities and we're missing a trick and we're not doing what we want to, we need to work very closely with St James's Place. We need to really look after our clients. And if one thing isn't working, then the rest doesn't really work. So they brought this together and then created it as a flower, and it looks like something that's flourishing and growing. So and that kind of resonated, so that was quite nice.
Along the idea, as it says here, of together stronger, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's the thing, isn't it? So
Yeah, it's no good concentrating on one area and the rest is kind of left. So we definitely, and we talk about a 100-year business, and we want our team to be engaged, and we have the next generation of advisors joining us along the way, and older, more experienced advisors retiring. But it's not a cliff edge thing, it's a gradual process, and we want to make sure that everyone in every role has got support, and that clients really fundamentally are never forgotten in all of this. Yeah.
So you've got that far.
Yep.
What next?
So next they drafted 2 or 3 versions of a logo before, and then this was the selected one from these reasons, and then the one that resulted from it is like
here
this.
it is.
So the purple was controversial colour. We had a choice. There was a salmon, there was a blue, and there was the purple. Internally, all the team that were asked mostly preferred the blue, and whether that's just because we've always had blue in thing, and looking at the surrounds and things, blue's very popular corporate colour. But when we started asking clients, massive landslide to purple. So we actually bent and went with the client view, because it's important.
When you're rebranding, you have to also consider what's it going to look like on a website, what's it going to look like on a business card, what's it going to look like on a pull-up banner,
on an app. Absolutely. All of those things are in your mind, so it's got to be something that's transferable, but it's got to go in line with the St James's Place logo as well. So and it does all that, and it ticks all the boxes. And like all these things, it takes a little while to get used to. It's for us, it's taken a while to get used to, and some of the team still aren't convinced, I've got to be honest, but they were quite contrarian about the previous one, and some would have kept the old logo, and the fear of change is strong.
I think there's a natural reluctance to change in any human being. They just have a different. Well, I mean, you'll know from your business, it's attitude to risk, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Isn't that what it is?
That's right. Yeah. So if you're in a comfort zone and things are okay, why take a risk, and why move on and why progress? But actually, everyone now is on board with this being the way forward. Yeah. So we haven't got anybody who's going to use different business cards or letterheads, and they were all given out last week to the guys, and say they will be used to them now, and clients will start seeing them on the website, and it's good. It's a refreshed brand that really does represent us going forward and has the story with the circles. Yeah. And it makes sense once you've explained it to somebody. Yeah. Otherwise, they just think, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Nice pattern. Yeah. But alongside that then, are there any structural changes to the business? Is it just the brand that's changing? What else is happening underneath it?
Purely a branding exercise, this was, a rebranding. So the external signage at Willow House West on the business park in Shrewsbury is being changed today. I was going to send you images of that happening, but I'm here and he's over there. So
we'll get it on our socials for you, absolutely.
We'll share it anon. But the signs are massive, and they're designed particularly to allow people to find us, because it's a big business park. There's a lot of businesses on there, so that's happening. We've got our Golf Marathon Challenge on the 4th of August. So we've had a logo that's been put on to the Prostate Cancer UK polo shirts we've bought. So they'll look smart, so we'll look the piece for those. And it's just going on everything that we need to brand, really. But it won't be immediate, it's just along the way.
You have to, just whenever anything needs refreshing, it's the next thing that gets done.
Yeah, we don't want to throw out thousands of letterheads just because we change the branding. So, yeah.
How's the golf challenge going? How's the preparation going? It's been a bit
we've-
warm for.
It is very warm. It's warm in here today, but it has been quite warm, and we're all just trying to get a bit better at golf in these early stages, and then the fitness thing will come along the way. But it's not that long now, is it?
No, you've got 4 or 5 weeks to go, haven't you?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So it's four full 18 holes rounds on the one day. So starting about 5:20 whenever daylight is on the 4th of August, and then finishing about 9 o'clock at night, hopefully before it gets dark.
There wouldn't be enough hours in the day for me to complete 4 18 holes of golf with you, or have enough golf balls to carry with me, I don't think. So, have you set yourself any targets in terms of what you're hoping to raise? Or
we've got, I think mentally we're thinking £1,000. The website currently might say 750, and we're about £540 of that. Something the company have sponsored a chunk. So there's £250 from the firm, which is a great start.
Yeah.
And we're running a bit of a competition. So if people want to go on to the website and sponsor us, and then they just leave their guess about how many total shots we take. So the combined for the 4 of us in 4 rounds, how many will it be? And it's going to be quite a few. It's going to be, we think, between 1,200 and 2,000, but we don't know. And it could be more, could be less.
That's
Who
good
knows?
fun. That is. So which website is that all on?
So it's on bit.ly/throggolf, all one word.
Excellent. Great. Talking of charitable endeavours, by the way, I saw you posted a picture earlier this week of the almost completed building that you were helping out with when you went out to Nepal earlier this year. That must have been great to see.
Oh, it's amazing. Every time you see it, it's emotional. Because you remember when it was there and when we were working on it and we were digging a big hole for a water tank that was going to be put on there, wheeling hundreds of tons of stuff, and actually there to see it and it's almost completed. It's pretty much fitted out. They've just got to get the internals done now, and then there'll be young people in there that will be learning the trades that can then go and change their lives and go back to their villages and actually set up businesses and teach other people the same skills. So it's amazing. It is amazing.
I mean, that's a proper feel-good task to feel like you've been involved in, isn't it? That. So
yeah.
Are you hoping you might be able to go out and see it?
I'm hoping so, yeah. And I'm also hoping that I might get involved in another one down the line, in a couple of years, maybe 3 years at least, because I was lucky enough to take Ethan this time, who's now 21, and his younger brother Zane is coming through. He's 15, so to share a similar experience with him on a different site but with the same charity, that'd be amazing, because we loved it so much.
Absolutely. I can't let you go, though, in your role as a wealth manager without giving us a few top tips. How should we be feeling at the moment? What's the word on the street? There's been lots of negative headlines over the past couple of weeks, and the accusations the Bank of England don't know what they're doing, and all the statistics can't be trusted. And what are clients saying to you at the moment? What are they worried about?
Generally, people are worried about the rise of interest rates. Most people have got some sort of fixed rate anyway, so it hasn't impacted on them immediately. But they may well have a term that's coming to an end in the next 6 months, 2, 3 years. And where the interest rate is at that point is going to be a concern. So we're not foreseeing any dips in rates anytime soon. We do encourage people to fix if they can. We wouldn't encourage people to pay big fees or fines, just change their deal early, because we don't know what the things will be like in a year or two. So there's a good chance that interest rates will drop a bit. Inflation will come down a bit, inevitably, because with the energy costs coming down, and we've seen some of those coming in, the price cap's been reduced. So inflation will start dipping. But the inflation that we actually are subject to ourselves personally is very different to the headline rate. So you and I will be spending money on lots of different things, and all of those have gone up. There's no two ways about it. Fuel's coming down, and they say your domestic bills are coming down, but not quickly enough, I don't think. But
they reckon this weekend's the time you've got to take a meter reading, don't they, to make sure?
Yeah, that's been the advice, isn't it? Yeah, just so you've got a line in the sand for whatever happens next. So it's a fascinating time. Most clients are more worried about their children, their grandchildren getting on a housing ladder. That's a big thing. So lots now aren't waiting till they die and giving money in a will. They're actually, if they can, they're lending money now or gifting money, and helping to have a larger deposit that then means that a house might be affordable. But the pricing has gone crazy. From historic high rates, then it was never such a multiple of your income that you were committing to your just paying a mortgage. So it's a lot of people feeling the squeeze. But the message, as always, have a plan, calm, have a chat with someone. Don't just take advice from the guy at the end of the bar. Don't just follow what your neighbour's doing over the fence. Have an actual plan yourself. We are all in the same storm, but the boats that we're in are probably different. So that's an analogy that's been driven quite recently, and actually it's true. And that's how people react longer term. Is generally, have the money that you need set aside in a bank account, it's an emergency fund. Get the rest working a bit harder, and it will go up and down. If you're paying in monthly, going up and down is good because you're buying more units if there is a dip. You don't need the money immediately, so longer term savers like pensions, maybe ISAs, stocks and shares versions, they will long term be decent. But short term volatility is got to be accepted, and that's the price you pay.
Hold your nerve a bit.
Hold your nerve, yeah. And if you panic and sell at exactly the wrong time, you're going to make the loss, and then you're not going to get back in on time. And I think behaviourally, we are renowned for advising our clients longer term and almost talking them off the ledge, and that makes quite a difference. There are some studies out that it can make a 4 or 5% a year difference in your returns if you don't do the wrong thing at the wrong time. And generally, it's just because you feel that you have to. So now you've got apps, you've got websites, you've got online valuations available. You can quite easily get depressed every day if it's down a little bit. Don't get too happy if it's up a little bit, and then that repeat, and the next morning do the same again. And checking too soon is as bad as never checking.
But it can be quite addictive, can't it?
Absolutely.
That's the I want it now mentality, and the fact you can check your statuses on everything all the time, can't you? But
I was at a meeting last week, and they were talking about that the average length of time that an investor in America holds a stock for a week. They buy it and then they sell it within a week, and if it's gone up a bit, it's gone down a bit, then they'll try something else. That's not long-term investing. There's no sense to that almost.
No, absolutely. Interesting times, I think, is the phrase, isn't it?
Always.
Let me say to you, happy new brand.
Thank you.
Great to see you, and we'll have a chat with you next month.
See you next
month. Thanks very much, Nick. Time now to go back to Telford's International Centre to meet two more of the Shropshire Chamber Business Award winners. This time we're talking about Best Young Business Person and the winner of Business in the Community.
But I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the winner is Faye Hudson from Reach.
Really excited. It's amazing. It was great to be shortlisted, so to have won it is amazing. Really pleased. I work with such an amazing team, and the nature of my role is that I couldn't do my job without that team. We've got so many talented designers, developers, the management team, like I couldn't do my job without them, so it's amazing, yeah. At Reach, we're looking to grow the company as a whole, but in my department we're looking to grow more in kind of consumer research, using data more. That's kind of where my focus is over the next few years.
There's only one winner of the Community Champion Business in the Community 2023, and that is Paverways Limited.
I'm pretty pleased. This is on the back of two awards last week, over the moon. But I think, for me personally, our whole business is all about business in the community. The work we put into Shropshire, into Telford and the surrounding counties, that's what we're about. And the investment we put in and the support we give, and I'm proper. I don't know if everyone saw my reaction when it was there. I was proper quite pleased. It's probably better than Forest staying up this year, which is obviously pretty important to me. But yeah, really pleased. Yeah, no, constantly moving forward. I have this lovely plan in my life that in maybe 5-6 years' time I'm gonna step down, not that, and we will be back, and we will be back to win Business of the Year. We'll win Company of the Year before I retire, and I want a stepping stone into a few of the awards, and Community One is the one that the big tick for me. It is the big tick. It's our stamp of that's what we do every day, and yeah, it's really important. And it's hats off. It's hats off the people that work for us there. We're amazing.
So there you go. That's the winner of the Young Business Person Award and the Business in the Community Award from the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards in Telford at the weekend. That's almost it for this edition of Shropshire Business Live TV. But before I introduce our final highlights package from the awards, just want to tell you a few things. Next month is the final edition of this current series, and we're very excited to reveal that Shropshire's Company of the Year, newly crowned, ACO, are going to be hosting us on the 27th of July for a live streamed version of our final show of the series from their theatre at their Oswestry headquarters. We would love it if you would come and join us for this. Have a seat in the audience, a nice free seat, great opportunity for networking. We've got some great guests lined up. The details you can see on the screen now about how to contact us. info@sbltv.co.uk is the website. We'd love it if you fancied being in the audience, or indeed if you've got some content that you'd like to pitch to us for use on the show. It's the final show of our third series, so we are determined we're going to make it a good one, and if we can get a great audience at ACO, that would be a fabulous way to end what's been another terrific series. Thank you to everybody who continues to watch the show and keep our viewer numbers heading in the right direction. OK, I'm now going to leave you with one final segment from the Shropshire Chamber Business Awards. You'll see now a flavour of what went on at the International Centre on Friday night, as well as a chat with Kelda Wood of Climbing Out. Now, she won the John Clayton Award, which is given for a lifetime's achievement and contribution to the community of Shropshire. Until next time at ACO on the 27th of July, Chris and I will see you then. Here's one final look at Shropshire's Business Oscars.
Please welcome on stage your host for this evening, Carl Jones.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Shropshire's Business Oscars. Please give a huge welcome to the winner of this year's John Clayton Award, Kelda Wood.
Do you know what? It was really special because I didn't know anything about it. I just thought we were coming along as one of the charities for the evening. So yeah, and Shropshire businesses have given me so much support through everything that I've done. So it kind of feels extra special to just get that award when everyone was here that has been part of it, really. So yeah, really special. So the whole thing with Rowing the Atlantic was to try and inspire others, and it's moved the charity onto a whole new platform. So the absolute focus now moving forwards is on the charity, but now trying to take people off to do adventures that kind of thought they wouldn't. So we've extended what we do with the charity. We run our mental resilience programs, but now we're kind of selecting people to go through to do expeditions as well. So we've got a wilderness canoeing expedition in Sweden this year. We're doing a mountaineering expedition in the Alps next year, but taking a group of people who've all been through trauma, who would have all never believed they could do something like that, and try and inspire them to get out and achieve above and beyond. So yeah, it's exciting, it's great. So it's all about kind of other people now and what we can get them to do.
Will you please give a massive Shropshire Business Awards welcome to the many voices of Deborah Stevenson.
Wow, hello everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention and good night.